There is a moment, not loud, not explosive, not even something you can point to, where a person realizes they are no longer who they were the day before. The change comes in quietly, slipping between thoughts, settling in the spaces you never paid attention to, rearranging everything without ever announcing itself. It's the moment you wake up and feel that something inside you has tilted just a few degrees, and even if you don't understand it yet, you know you won't be able to go back. Most people ignore that feeling. They bury it under noise, distraction, fear, or the belief that transformation is something that happens only in dramatic scenes from movies or stories told by someone else. But the truth is simpler and more haunting. Transformation begins in silence, in the places you avoid, in the thoughts you've never spoken aloud. For you, this moment is here, standing at the edge of something you didn't expect but can no longer deny. A pull toward a version of yourself that's sharper, calmer, more deliberate. A version aware of the weight of every choice, every hesitation, every breath. And while this journey is yours alone, remember the spark that pushes you forward. The one that comes from imagining yourself standing one day in the creative world you admire, even alongside people who inspire you, not as a fan, but as a creator who earned their place. That vision is your silent compass, guiding you into the path you planned. Most people avoid mirrors, not because of what's seen on the surface, but because mirrors reflect the truth beneath it. The truth about how long you've held yourself back, how often you've hesitated, how deeply you fear becoming the person you secretly want to be. A mirror shows everything. The ambition you tried to hide, the exhaustion you ignored, the curiosity you denied, the potential you kept locked behind excuses. It shows the moments you stayed silent when you should have spoken, the moments you paused when you should have moved, the moments you let life direct you instead of directing it yourself. But a mirror also shows possibility. It reveals the parts of you that have been waiting, watching, gathering strength in the corners of your mind. The parts that never died, even when you gave up on yourself. The parts that whisper, "You're capable of more." And now, for the first time, you're listening. You're looking long enough to see what's been waiting behind your eyes. This act, this acknowledgement, is the first real step. You cannot change what you cannot see. And now, you see clearly. In that reflection, if you look deep enough, you might even glimpse the version of you who one day reaches your ultimate goal. Perhaps even stepping onto a movie set, or driving in your dream car, not as a dreamer, but as an equal. Consistency is where you confront what's in your way and push forward towards your end purpose. There is a heaviness you've carried for so long that you stopped noticing its presence. It lives in your shoulders, your breath, your hesitation. It lives in the way you second-guess your voice, your skills, your place in the world. It lives in the memories you never talk about, the ones where you failed, or froze, or convinced yourself that you weren't enough. This weight is invisible to everyone else, yet it shapes everything you do. You've learned to function with it. You've even learned to pretend it isn't there. But deep down, you feel its pull every time you try to move forward. The truth is that this weight is not a punishment, it's a boundary. A wall built from every moment that convinced you to shrink instead of expand. And walls don't disappear by ignoring them. They crumble only when faced, when understood, when challenged. That is the purpose of this act. Not to erase what holds you back, but to understand it so completely that it loses the power to define you. The weight becomes lighter the moment you stop pretending it doesn't exist. And as you confront it, you start to imagine a life where those limitations no longer determine your direction. A life where your creativity is strong enough to one day produce the kind of stories, moments, or memories that catch the attention of even the people you look up to. Whether it's a creator, an inventor, a collector, or whoever it is that you desire to be an equal to. Your choices, your path, your future is where the fracture becomes a doorway. Every transformation begins with a fracture, a clean break where the old version of you can no longer support the life you're trying to build. It's painful, disruptive, disorienting, and yet it's necessary. There's a moment where you realize that if you continue living exactly as you are, nothing will change. The thoughts you replay, the habits you repeat, the fears you feed, they will shape the rest of your life unless you decide otherwise. The fracture is the moment you decide otherwise. This is the point where you stop asking for permission, where you stop waiting for a sign, where you stop believing that someone else will come along and rewrite your story for you. This is where the story becomes yours. The fracture does not destroy you, it reveals you. It forces you to confront who you really are and who you refuse to remain. This act cracks open a truth you can no longer avoid. You're not meant to stay where you are, and somewhere in that truth, the dream you hold, perhaps of being part of something important to you someday, shifts from fantasy to possibility. Reflections are where you begin rebuilding your future. Rebuilding does not begin with a dramatic gesture. It begins with one quiet decision, repeated until it becomes undeniable. It begins with discipline so small that no one sees it. It begins with effort so subtle that even you might question whether it matters. But it matters. Every small action is a brick. Every brick becomes a structure. Every structure becomes a foundation strong enough to hold the new version of you. You begin noticing the difference. The way your mind feels sharper. The way your focus lasts longer. The way your confidence rises from somewhere deep inside rather than from the world outside. The rebuild is uncomfortable. You're rewiring how you think, how you act, how you choose. You're removing the parts of you that no longer serve who you're becoming. And with every piece removed, space opens for something new. Something stronger, something truer. Change is where the momentum begins. Momentum is a strange force. At first, it feels like nothing. Then, suddenly, it feels like everything. Once it begins, it becomes hard to stop. You start seeing progress in places that once felt impossible. You start responding to life differently, with clarity instead of confusion, with intention instead of impulse, with calm instead of fear. You move in ways you never allowed yourself to before. You think with precision. You act with strategy. You begin to feel yourself becoming the person you always suspected you could be. Momentum makes the world react. Opportunities shift towards you. People notice the difference. You begin to walk with the quiet certainty of someone who knows where they're going. And as this momentum builds, so does your vision. The one where your creativity expands far beyond your room, far beyond your screen, far enough that one day you're working with the very people who inspired you in the first place. Maybe even standing next to your idol, not by accident, but because your momentum carried you there. The finish line is where you confront the final barrier. Every journey leads to a final door, and almost always the person standing on the other side of it, the person blocking your way, is you. Your doubt, your fear, your hesitation, your belief that you're still the version of yourself you left behind. You reach a point where the only thing that can stop you is the voice that whispers, "You're not ready," even when everything in your life proves that you are. The final barrier is not a failure. It's a test. It asks one question. Do you want the life you're building more than the life you're leaving behind? Your old identity, old habits, old fears, they all want you back. They want the comfort of predictability. They want you to remain who you've always been. But the version of you stepping forward, the one pushing through this script, reshaping your mind, imagining a future where your creativity leads you to the opportunities you dream about, cannot fit inside the confines of who you used to be. That point is where you break through. Breakthroughs never arrive in the way you expect. They don't come with applause or perfect timing. They appear in a single breath. One clear moment where everything aligns. You feel it in your chest, in your focus, in the stillness that settles behind your thoughts. A sense of certainty rises, not loud but solid, not dramatic but unshakable. You realize that everything you've gone through, the weight, the fracture, the rebuild, the momentum, has led to this one point. You step forward, not because you're fearless, but because you're ready. And readiness is more powerful than fear will ever be. The breakthrough is not about becoming someone new. It's about allowing yourself to be who you've always been beneath the noise. It's the moment you see that your dreams aren't beyond reach. They're waiting for you to reach back. Even the dream of one day standing creatively beside those who you follow becomes something that feels real, possible, grounded. Now is where you choose the life that waits for you. This is where everything narrows into one decisive truth. Your life moves in the direction of the choices you make from this moment forward. You can return to who you were, the version filled with hesitation, excuses, and unfinished intentions. Or you can continue becoming the person you met throughout this script, the person with clarity, the person with discipline, the person with purpose so strong it cannot be derailed, the person who understands that transformation isn't an event, it's a lifestyle, a commitment, a daily decision to rise. The world won't hand you the life you want. You take it, step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice. You build the habits, the confidence, the creativity, the mindset. You build the opportunities. You build the future where your visions become real. Even the vision where you eventually step into the creative world of people, contributing your own talent, your own voice, your own story. This is your closure and your call to action. Your life is no longer something that happens to you. It is something you shape. From this moment forward, you are becoming unstoppable.